Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a collective book haul. So I just got all the books out that I need to haul. I'm kind of ashamed. I don't know, I was doing so well before quarantine. For like the past year and a half, I rarely purchased books. I worked at the library. I'm still working at the library. And, you know, I would have like 50 books checked out on my card, but I was not buying them. And then quarantine hit, and I couldn't get physical books out of the library anymore, and I could only check out ebooks, which just doesn't hit the same when you want a physical book. And I was really good at reading books from my backlist, but then it was just like, oh, I want some new books, and I would order books, and then what really hurt was when I could start going places, you know, safely again, and I started going to the independent bookstore near my house, and I was like, you're helping out small business. Keep spending like 80 bucks a week at this bookstore. Then Target and Amazon both had like a buy two get one deal. It just kept growing out of control, and then it was my birthday, and I was like, treat yourself. Then I got a new job, and I was like, treat yourself. And now I am sitting here with a huge pile of books that I now have to show you, and I should, you know, wrap this up because yeah, I have a lot to talk. I have a lot to talk about today. Randomly, the first book I pulled off the pile is it's The Good Daughter by Karin Slaughter. Oh, that rhymes. I like that. I got this at Barnes & Noble for $8. So I read Pretty Girls in like October of last year. Fucking loved it. It was so disturbing. Loved it so much. I've heard this is also good. My friend read it. The friend who I recommend Pretty Girls to read it and said it was really good. So when I saw it for $8, I was like, yes, please. No clue what this is about. That's a theme. You're gonna notice. I buy books. I have no clue what they're about, and that's how I like it. Next up, we have Dominicana by Angie Cruz. I saw this at the independent bookstore by my house, and I was like, ooh, that sounds cool. It's a girl. This is about a girl who lives in the Dominican Republic, and she is moving to New York to marry a man. She is 15. It is in the 60s. Whole thing. I thought it sounded really, really interesting, and when I saw it, and the cover's really pretty, so when I saw it, I was like, okay. That can come home with me. The Glass Castle by Emily St. John Mandel. Station 11 is one of my all-time favorite books, so when she published a new book, I was like, hell fucking yeah. Emma from Drinking by My Shelf said she actually enjoyed this more than Station 11, so that was like the selling point for me. I was like, well, you own Station 11, you're probably going to love that one too. Buy it. So I bought it. No clue what this is about. Don't tell me. Next up, we have Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. I have tried to read this on ebook 3 different times, and I am horrible at remembering to read the ebooks I have checked out. So every time it would have to be auto-returned before I could finish it. So I was like, you know what? You're probably gonna like this anyway. Just buy it. So I did. I fucking love this cover. I know this has a lot to do with performative allyship. It basically follows Amira. She is a nanny for a white couple. She's called upon one evening late at night to take the child that she nannies to the store just to get her out of the house because they're dealing with an emergency, and she's approached by a security guard who thinks she has kidnapped the child. I didn't get much farther than like the first couple chapters every fucking time I picked this up, which is so frustrating. So I'm so excited to finally be able to just sit down and read it and not have to return this ever. Next up, we have Hood Feminism by Mikki Kendall. I can't wait to read this. Kayla from Books and Lala said this is one of her all-time favorite nonfiction books. I had seen this when I was working one day. Somebody had put it on hold, and I was like, that looks fucking cool. Very excited. I've gotten way more into nonfiction recently, so this is right up my alley. Speaking of nonfiction, we have Act Like a Lady by Keltie Knight, Becca Tobin, and Jacques Vannett. I have never listened to the Lady Gang podcast, but I saw this in Target and thought it looked amazing. I got it, and it's also really fucking pretty, so I can't say that wasn't a factor. Next up, we got a book I got for my birthday, and this is How She Died, How I Lived by Mary Crockett. It could have been any one of us. I have no idea what this is about. I believe this is a YA thriller. Looks like a YA thriller to me. My friend Sydney gave me this book, and I am very excited to jump into this. Okay, so from what I can tell from the back, a boy texted 5 girls, and only one responded, and so that night he killed her. That sounds fucked up as hell. That's right up my alley. I am very excited to read this book. Next up, we have a book I have considered buying like 12 times, and then I was at Barnes & Noble, and I was like, for the first time in months, almost a year, and I was like, oh, well, it's here, it's the last one, and that is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I've heard this is a lot like If We Were Villains, which I really enjoyed, which actually might be in this haul. I liked If We Were Villains. I like that kind of shit, so oh, I love dark academic stuff. This is great. Next up, we have Stamped by Jason Reynolds and Ibram X. Kendi. This is the remix of Stamped from the Beginning, which I have heard amazing things about, and it had Jason Reynolds' name on it, and I was like, yep, we're gonna buy that. So I did. Next up, we have Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson. I mean, look at the awards on this alone made me want to read it, but I have heard amazing things. I've picked it up in the library a couple times, usually when someone places a hold on it, so I can't actually check it out. So when I saw it at my local bookstore, I decided to pick it up because it's written in verse, and that's apparently something I like. I used to think that would be something that I fucking hated, and I've read two books this year, The Poetics and Long Way Down, and this year just in verse, and I fucking loved them, so I got more. Next up, we have Vicious by V.E. Schwab. This is a book that I have almost bought like 20 times. I really, really want to read it, and I have no idea why I haven't yet, so I bought it, and hopefully I'll read it soon. But knowing me, this is going to sit on my shelf for years, and I won't touch it. But I would really like to read it. Next up, we have In the Woods by Tana French. I was actually given this by my brother and his girlfriend. I know his girlfriend picked it out because my brother knew that I liked to read thrillers, and she had read this and thought I might like it. So I actually don't know much about this, but I'm very excited. I've never read a Tana French, so it's as good as a time as any to start. Next up is a book I am super excited about, and that is Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. I have heard such incredible things about this. This won the Booker Prize for 2019, and I've just had my eye on it for such a long time, and I just can't wait to get into it. Like, it just looks amazing. You ever flip through a book and it just like calls to you? That's when that's this. Next up, I'm going to talk about some books that I've already read. First up, I'm just going to quickly show you my beautiful new edition of the Twilight books because these give me life. Like, look at the shining. Look at the shine. Oh my god. And the covers are so pretty because they're just like pictures. I won't fight them out of this box set right now, but like Google these books. They're incredible. I'm very excited about them. I really want to reread Twilight. I also really want to reread The Hunger Games so that I can read the Songbird, the new one, whatever. But we'll see if that happens because, like, I've got a lot of reading to do. Then we have The Turn of the Screw. I didn't like this book. It's going to get hauled and unhauled at the same time. Same goes for Normal People. It was fine. It was fine. I just don't think I'm ever going to reread it. But then at the same time, I don't want to get rid of it. I did read it though. If you didn't know, The Turn of the Screw was an American classic that The Turn of the Key is based on, but it's not as good as The Turn of the Key. Normal People follows two people who are fucking and have feelings for each other but don't actually want to address it in a healthy manner. Next up, I bought Truly Devious. This is one of my favorite YA books of all time. I love this series so much. I finished it earlier this year. So good. I didn't own it. It was on sale for $4 on Amazon, so I bought it. I also fucking love this cover, so it was just a must-have. Duh. Then we have Wilder Girls by Rory Power. I bought this after I read it on ebook back in April and fucking loved it so much. I loved it so much. So I have to own it. I freaking love this book. I loved Rory Power's writing, and I'm very excited to own it because now I can reread it. Speaking of Rory Power, I also got Burn Our Bodies Down. This is her newest release, and I'm so excited. I really don't know anything about it. I believe it's horror, and it has something to do with corn. Corn on the cover. Just look at the cover. It's so pretty. I am very excited to get into this, but as I am with most things, who knows when I'll actually read it. Next up, we have Queenie by Candice Carty-Williams. I've heard really good things about this. I've had my eye on this for a while. It tends to happen where I see books in the library, have no idea what they're about, but I'm like, I'm gonna add that to my mental list. And then I see it again at a bookstore, and I decide to buy it. So that's what happened here. Next up, we have Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates. This was super hard to get my hands on. It's very popular right now, so when I saw it, did I get this on Amazon or in my bookstore? I don't know. But when I saw that it was in stock somewhere, I picked it up, I jumped on it, and I'm very excited to read this. Hopefully I'll read it soon. It's a pretty thin one, so I want to knock it out very soon. Back to books I've already read. This is The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. This is one of my favorite thrillers ever. I love this so much. Everybody was talking about Lock Every Door last year. I liked Lock Every Door. This I liked way more. This just is one of my perfect thrillers. I don't care that it's somewhat totally unbelievable. I loved it. Next up we have Circe by Madeline Miller. This is a Greek novelization of some Greek myths about Circe, who was exiled to an island, and the different Greek heroes that she meets throughout her life and different things that she does. I didn't think I was gonna like this, and I gave it a 4-star, but it has stuck with me so much that I really want to reread it and see if it becomes a 5-star. I read it last summer, loved it, wanted to own it. Next up we have The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. I don't know anything about this, and I also think I've never read Lisa Jewell before, so I'm excited to crack into it and see how I feel. Next up we have Untamed by Glennon Doyle. This is a nonfiction book. My mom has read this. She really liked it, and I'm hoping I'll really like it. I was supposed to read this months ago. As usual, it just gets pushed back on. It gets pushed farther and farther back. I fucking love the cover. Like, ugh. So cool. Yeah, I saw an interview with Glennon Doyle on like Good Morning America or the Today Show. I don't remember which one. And I was really drawn to this book. Next up we have The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. I've read 2 books by Toni Morrison. I have read Beloved and A Mercy and loved them both. Beloved is one of my all-time favorite books. I absolutely loved it. This is about a young black girl who prays every day for beauty, society's standards of beauty, so she wants blue eyes. Yeah, she wants blonde hair and blue eyes. And the book takes off from there. I love Toni Morrison's writing, as does everyone, but I saw this at Barnes & Noble and had to pick it up because I have been trying to get it off Amazon and other places, but it's been sold out, so when I saw it, I had to grab it. This is The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. I have heard very good things about this. Basically, it is about a fairy witch woman who feeds sunshine to babies and children, and one day she accidentally feeds a child moonlight, gives her extraordinary magic. That sounds really cool. I've heard good things, and I definitely want to read a little bit more middle grade. I don't read a lot, especially for a children's librarian. I feel like I should read more middle grade. Next up we have Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. This is a very talked about book, and I was like, oh, okay, we'll try it out. I don't actually remember what it's about, and it's a Reese's Book Club pick, so I'm 10 times more likely to get a book if it has that sticker. It freaking works for me. Back to books I've already read. This is Bunny by Mona Awad. Fucking love this book. I screamed out loud multiple times. Basically, it's about a girl who is in grad school for writing, and she's in a workshop with this group of girls who call themselves the Bunnies. They call each other Bunny, and they're like all over each other, and she like kind of hates them and then is like kind of drawn into their group and what happens. And it is so fucked up and so great. I loved it. Truly just like the weirdest shit ever, and it was great. I love shit like this. Right up my alley. It was a 5-star read. I'm so glad I own this book. This is All American Boys by Jason Reynolds. Jason Reynolds is kind of an auto buy for me now. I love his writing, and this is one that I've heard a lot about as a children's librarian. This is brought up a lot, has won a lot of awards, as has a lot of his work. So I'm excited to crack into this. I don't know much. Don't really want to know much. This is the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I don't know what this is about at all. Like, I'm guessing it has something to do with the title, but fuck yeah, I want to read this. I've heard mixed reviews, I'm not gonna lie, but I want to read this really bad. I heard it mentioned on a couple channels and I was like, might have to pick that one up. So I did. Can't wait for this one. This is The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett. I recently read The Mothers by Brit Bennett and freaking loved it. So I can't wait for this. I've heard nothing but great things. I've also somehow been able to avoid a synopsis of this book while people have been freaking out about it. So I don't really know what it's about, and I kind of love that because I had no clue what The Mothers was about and freaking love that book. So I'm hoping I'm going to love this probably more. Next up we have My Dark Vanessa by Katie Elizabeth Russell. I've heard some things about this. Some dark shit about a girl who is young and basically starts having a relationship with her teacher, and when she's young she thinks it's consensual and fine, and as she grows older she kind of discovers that she was abused, and I really want to check this out. Next up we have a used copy of Miracle Creek by Angie Kim. I know this is a crime or law thriller, like a courtroom thriller, and I don't think I've ever read a courtroom thriller. Could be wrong, but I have heard good things, and for some reason I've always been really, really drawn to this. So when I saw it in one of the secondhand Book of the Month Facebook groups, I jumped on it. Same goes for No Exit by Taylor Adams. I have heard such good things from BookTube and from my coworkers about how crazy this book is. So when I saw it on the secondhand Facebook group, I was like, yes, yes. I know this is about a girl who was snowed in at a truck stop with 4 or 5 other people, and she goes out to her car, and the car next to her has a cage with a child in it. I'm hooked. I'm done. Yep. Bought. Purchased. Hook, line, sinker. Yes. Next up we have Call Me By Your Name by Andre Aciman. I have heard very good things about this. The movie, not quite so much. I have heard good things about the book, so I am hoping to check this out shortly. Next up we have a secondhand copy of The Woman in the Window by AJ Finn. I know this is about a woman who is too scared to go outside, I believe. She's confined inside, and she starts watching her neighbors. I know it's being made into a movie with Amy Adams. Probably won't see it, to be honest, but I do want to read the book. Next up, another book I've already read, and that is If We Were Villains by ML Rio. 5 stars. I fucking love this book. I've mentioned it already. It was so good. Dark academic setting with some Shakespeare, and I don't even like Shakespeare, but this worked for me. Loved it. I got The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six because these are probably my favorite books of last year. Taylor Jenkins Reid is probably one of my all-time favorite authors, and I didn't own them. Now I do. Next up we have Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. Very talked about. Reese's Book Club. New show on Hulu. Next up we have Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry by Mildred D. Taylor. Don't read a lot of middle grade. Wanted to check this out. Had heard good things. So I grabbed it at my local bookstore. Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. I loved The Poet X. So when I found out she wrote another verse novel, I'm here for it. I want to read this super soon. I should have already read it. Haven't yet. Don't know what's wrong with me. Cannot wait to read this book. So I have Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I actually haven't heard very good things about this. I know it's a Gothic horror novel, so I'm excited for it, but I actually have not heard the greatest things as of right now. This is the reason that I got Book of the Month, and this is Home Before Dark by Bradley Staker. And I got it because I could get it before it came out, and then I didn't read it. but I've heard great things. I cannot wait to read this. I fucking love Riley Sager. As I've said, I miss thrillers. I haven't read like any thrillers recently, and I just miss them terribly. And we have The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I bought this for the Literally Dead book club. I've heard not great things, so I'm not as excited at all to read this now. I was very excited when I got it. Not anymore. I'm hoping that doesn't stop me from actually reading it, because I really don't want to buy books and not read them anymore, but like, I've bought too many books now. Then I picked up Beach Read by Emily Henry because it looked like a fun summer romance. Yep, that's it. That's literally it. I got it for 10 bucks, so I was like, yeah, sure. I'm gonna quickly tag on the ebooks that I've bought recently as a part of this video, just so that it's all caught up, I guess. So I bought Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Byron. I am very excited for this. I love a Cinderella retelling, and this one looks really good. I bought Felix Ever After by Kacen Callender. I have started this one, and I'm very excited. I love Kacen Callender's writing, so very excited. I bought Dear Hitty Love Elaine. I think this was on sale, and I have seen it a couple times through some YA library stuff, so I thought I'd pick it up. I picked up The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta because everyone is talking about this book, and I knew I wanted to read it. Same goes for All Boys Aren't Blue. Everyone is talking about it, and I just was like, I need to own that book. I bought Upright Women Wanted by Sarah Gailey. I am always iffy about paying a lot of money for novellas because they're the same price as a hardcover book, but they're very short, so I got it on ebook. I got With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo because I'm now obsessed with her. And I've heard great things about this book and never read it. I got Hearts Unbroken by Cynthia Letique Smith. I wrote a little blurb about this for my grad school class and have not read it yet, and I want to read it so bad, so I bought it. I bought Juliet Takes a Breath by Gabby Rivera. I saw Gabby speak at YALSA this past year and was absolutely obsessed with her. Unfortunately, her line, I got into the convention center really late because my last workshop went long, so when it came time to like line up for signed copies of books, I couldn't get one because I was too late, but I got the book now. Then I got The Marrow Thieves. I've heard such good things about this book and I want to read it so badly. I just need to remember that I have ebooks. I got Bianca y Roja. I got Bianca and Roja by Anna Marie McLemore. I've heard amazing things about this from Kayla from Books and Lala, so I had to pick it up. I also bought White Fragility and White Rage for the Blackout Buddy read back in June. I also bought The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes because all of my Hunger Games books are now ebooks, so I figured I would buy it on ebook, even though it was just as expensive as the hardcover. That does hurt my soul. Sometimes, I will admit. So that is my collective book haul. I was doing so well with not buying books, and I just ruined it hard. Like, real hard. Like, wow. Hopefully I can keep up with these monthly from here on out, and hopefully I won't be buying as much, so I won't have this many books again. But thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, all the normal stuff, and I'll see you guys again super soon. Bye.